his next opponent. This is going to be a tough one for him, I have no doubt about that. I'd certainly say that his next opponent may very well be considered an underdog in this matchup, but I would never, ever, ever underestimate the potential of the year of Harstem, the Home Story Cup champion, a Protoss player, someone that Innovation has not had to fight yet. Bear in mind, Innovation's been playing mostly TVZ.
Well, I'm just looking at this and I'm like, oh, now I get to learn Innovation TVP builds.
Can't do the same thing over and over again, Innovation. We've got another race for you to try and eat.
Right. That's why you have to do something different now.
Yeah, he will absolutely.
Yeah, I guess the build that he's been doing a lot versus Zerg, minus the siege tanks, is also at that opening. At least people kind of do against Protoss a bit, but I do expect him to play a little differently based on what's standard in Korea right now. So either way, it should be a really, really good game. As far as he's just been playing mechanically so well. Like I don't know. That's why I don't think Innovation is going to be very easy to stop, or whether he is stoppable or not is just because he's been playing so solid. He's not been winning scrappy games. He's been executing timings flawlessly and slaughtering everyone he matches against.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now, Harstem has had a pretty strong record over the last couple of months when it comes to PvT. He 3-0'd Marsa and he 3-0'd Hero Marine. You know, Hero Marine, I think, for the longest time, considered to be an incredibly great up-and-coming Terran player. You know, and finding great foreign Terran players is few and far between. But people were thinking, you know, Hero Marine is the real deal. He had a lot of hype behind him. And, of course, Harstem 3-0'd him in Home Story Cup. Harstem 3-0'd Marsa in Home Story Cup. And Harstem 3-0'd Snoot in Home Story Cup. Yep. I mean, he was on a tear that tournament. We've made jokes about the year of Harstem over and over again, but this actually might be. And, of course, it is just the best of one. Harstem may very well be the underdog here, but he could have a build to bust out here, and he could really pull the upset. I don't doubt anybody in this tournament, especially considering what we've seen today. Can he do it? We'll find out.
Track record has been amazing. I'm got my fingers crossed for my boy.
He might need it, because Innovation's on a tear right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you to the southeast position. In the pink trunks, he is playing Protoss for Invasion Esports. He is Harstem. Versus his opponent to the southwest position, he is King of the Hill with a 5-map streak. In the blue trunks for SK Telecom T1, Innovation.
All right, opening with a Barracks Gas, so probably going to be something like a very quick Reaper for Innovation, nothing super out of the ordinary. Harstem, going to go for that fast enough probe scout. He wants to be aware of whatever is going on. Innovation hasn't been cheesy today. He's had his times where he's been known. What was it? Innovation was either the greediest player in the world, or he did 2 racks back in Heart of the Swarm when 2-raxing was a thing. Yeah,
and it worked both times as well. Like, it doesn't matter what he did, he just did it well. Execution is the name of the game when it comes to Innovation.
Very aggressive tendencies he used to have, even when he plays the macro style. Then it just becomes that, we've already seen it, the wave after wave and non-stop aggression. So, interestingly enough, right, opening with that very fast gas after the barracks, he's not building a Reaper.
Yeah, that's uncharacteristic here for Innovation.
This is highly unusual. So I'm trying to think about reasons why he would do this. Naturally, I think that he wants a fast factory. However, he gets the reactor after the Marine, so it isn't really even the fastest factory ever either. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to get the Marine out quickly to try and deny the probe so he couldn't pylon rush him or anything. I don't really know. I think a Reaper could have done that as well. Interesting opening from Innovation.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd, certainly. I wonder what Harstem is planning on doing here. He's sharking around. He's put a pylon there, so may very well just be for a block, or it could be for something else entirely. Who knows? Wouldn't necessarily put something out there, though, if you're going to proxy it. That's a little bit risky.
You know what? I think he was expecting the Reaper, and he tried to time it out so that he could block the Reaper from being able to scout while it was on the bridge. Yeah, but there is no Reaper. Instead, it's a very fast third command center.
Wow, greedy as hell. This is a complete change of pace here from Innovation. Now, how do you think that evens out against a Stargate opening like this here from Harstem?
I actually think it's fine. I think this is better than a Warp Prism build, because if you think about it, like, you can only build 2 Marines at a time, right? But once you have 6 Marines, dealing with an Oracle is like, it's just like a binary thing. Like, if you have enough Marines and they're there, you hold it. But like, Warp Prisms are really fast. It's not always certain what's going to come out of them. So I think dealing with the Stargate play is the best, because you can just spread yourself very thin. You don't have to worry about it. Whereas Prisms are just much more effective tools for killing people that play 3 command centers at least. I like this. I like this a lot for innovation.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. You know, it's an absolute nightmare where you have so few units and 3 command centers, and you're trying to deal with the Prism, which is all over the damn place. Damage is going to be done here, I think. I mean, an Oracle should be able to do some damage here, but even to see there's a missile turret already up here. Innovation's playing stupidly safe here. So he seems like he's got a read. That said, we are seeing a 3rd base coming down pretty early here for Harstem, so it doesn't look like he's overcommitting to the Stargate style yet. No,
but he is going to build more than a single Oracle, so the turret becomes, in that instance, that much more so important, because then, you know, how many times haven't we seen it where Terran players like, oh, I do have 6 Marines, and then it's like, well, that's actually 2 Oracles, and then you lose all your Marines instantly, and you're like, David Kim, save me.
I don't know. I don't think David Kim's ever going to save you, but I think the missile turret might in this position. We'll see how Harstem's control is. You know, he gets a nice little SCV pick-off right there. It's a risky getting quite close to that Marine count right there. Grabs another one and gets out. I mean, this is nice, don't get me wrong, but it's against a 3 command center Terran. He's not going to be short on SCVs. Two
SCV kills is not that big of a deal in
this
scenario.
It's not.
Especially now that he's building 3 SCVs at a time, because the orbital command is done. And Innovation is going to start taking a couple of extra gases. He never took the right gas in his main, which I find interesting. It's that gas is more vulnerable for SCVs to get picked off by the Oracle than the ones in the natural, I suppose. But that is kind of weird. Anyway, factory's done. He can get a reactor and a starport and make his way towards medevacs.
And he can. So far, so good for our King Innovation at the moment. But Harstem throwing a lot of tech behind this. Twilight Council and Double Forge. Now moving into Phoenix.
Yep, I think this is fine for this map, right? We talk about the close air, or at least just the straight air distance that you can use, so the Phoenix can deny drops, which Innovation has shown a tendency towards, but that's not what's happening. And if you really think about it, these Oracles that have danced around and harassed as much as they have, I actually never saw, or at least I'm not sure if they saw that 3rd command center at any point, so may not be aware of just the position that he was in as far as how much he had set up for economy.
Yeah, I wonder if he makes an assumption just based on what he's seen. You know, not a lot of units on the ground, not a lot of tech. Yeah, you got to assume there's a 3rd CC behind that, because otherwise, what is it in? You know?
Yeah, what else could he have been doing if he wasn't already attacking me? That's
exactly. And you know, Innovation is playing a bit more passively this time, and to be fair, he can afford to do that. Not that it's ever good to allow a Protoss to get up to 3 bases completely unmolested, though.
You want to try to put pressure on, but on this map, if you think about just that choke point, right, where on the bridge, like, it's just so difficult to get through there. Like, this is a map where I can see a station board on this being really good, because if you freeze a few units, you can't even walk around them because they're stuck there. So I think it's, in the current meta, better if you can to try and get the 3rd faster for yourself as Terran, just because it's very hard to kill a Protoss player when you're on 2 bases and they take that 3rd, mostly because of Photon Overcharge and threat of getting, you know, tagged with Revelation or stasis traps and all that jazz. But I love these Oracles. These are being super annoying, super cost effective, running around, being very, very aware of everything that's happening in this game. And there you go, forcing out a stim.
Yep, that's always nice. And I love just the use of the Revelation here, just to keep an eye on things. He knows exactly where his opponent is at all times. It's incredibly useful for him. And Harstem is playing a pretty solid defensive style. And at this point, there's nothing really stopping him from doing that. You know, he's got 3 bases as a Protoss, very comfortable position, 71 workers, and he's been able to get pretty damn greedy up to this point.
Yep, I like this though. The Stasis Sword to cover the flank. He's got his Robo Bay on the way. The Immortal's going to be really important to anchor this on. Oh, the Stasis Trap!
Oh, that's a big deal! He blinks right in. This is an opportunity right here for Harstem. Half the army has been shut down, and the other half could very well be trapped here. Puts down the Revelation to spot the other Widow Mines. They're going to pop out of there in probably about the next 10 seconds. Does Harstem have enough units to cut this off? It feels like...
I'd love preemptive force fields on those Marines
that would be
they
so
can't
good.
Run away, but He is going to let them go as this stasis ends. But with the Guardian Shell, he can just do so much damage. These Adepts can soak up forever against this, but Innovation is not going to give up just yet.
No, Innovation's just hammering home. I mean, he just has the unit count there. If Hearthstone had only been able to do more damage, maybe get more aggressive as a result, but those Widow Mines kept him at bay for too long. And as a result, even though he cut the army in half, which is an incredible opportunity, he wasn't able to capitalize on it.
No, that's a bit, I'd say, disappointing for Hearthstone.
It's going to be galling, yeah.
I mean, the nice thing for him is you look at it from the perspective of, oh, I didn't want to lose my third base or take economic damage. He didn't. But as far as army goes, he didn't really accomplish a whole lot either. And defending the third base, I don't believe is as big of a deal, or I don't think it's the focus at this point, because Innovation got that third so unbelievably fast.
It's definitely concerning. Hearthstone with the army supply deficit at the moment. Upgrades have kicked in for Hearthstone, but they're also in play for Innovation. Disruptors being added to the mix here, but there's now Liberation Zones being added in here as well, and this is an awkward place to fight for the Protoss.
Yeah, those Liberators are really complicating things. Disruptor is going to go, gets a huge volley on that bio, but still the pressure is on that Nexus. The Liberators, covered by the Widow Mines, are making this very difficult for Hearthstone.
Yeah, if he jumps right in the middle of this, he's going to take a lot of Widow Mine damage, and he knows it. But a good engagement so far from Hearthstone, and a lovely use of the Time Warp there. If he can just get in there and finish them off without taking too much more damage, he's able to clean that army up, but there's so much production behind this already for the Terran. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say, okay, the economy's still pretty good for the Protoss, but Hearthstone lost, like, more than he wanted to there.
Yeah, that was a very well-executed push by Innovation, mostly because, as I stated, generally the Protoss is ahead of economy in Terran in this matchup, at least in Legacy of the Void. So Innovation getting the third as fast as he did, putting on the pressure, getting some damage done is always good. And Innovation's focus at the moment needs to shift towards getting Liberator range. Well, those Widow Mines detonated again on outside of Hearthstone's base as well.
Yeah, taking out a Stalker, that's always nice. The Disruptors now being deployed to clean them up, so that's always good. Of course, the game now changes with Hearthstone's Disruptors in the mix, and we'll see what that can do. A couple of good Disruptor shots. We saw that Innovation was caught off guard by that first Disruptor shot. A lot of damage was done, but we are still looking at a smaller Protoss army, potentially very vulnerable Protoss army. You know, not a lot of meat in there.
I think there's the Fusion Core. Okay, I was going to say I'm a little bit concerned that he's going for a double starport with no Fusion Core. But yeah, I think this is where you get your Liberator range, you sit back, and if you're Hearthstone, you need to recognize when this is happening so you can try to make the switch into Tempests. But he doesn't seem to have caught wind of it just yet. And if you're Innovation, well, once you get 7 or 8 Liberators with the range upgrade, you can pretty much kill any Protoss army.
Yeah, that'd be very, very hard to handle. You know, Blinkstalkers, yeah, they can get underneath them, but in the middle of bio, Blinkstalker's going to melt in a couple of seconds. So this is difficult for Hearthstone. He does have an upgrade advantage. That may help. A couple of good Disruptor shots could really turn this around. If he breaks the bio, he can jump under the Liberators and kill them. But he's got to take a great fight in order to make that happen.
I mean, he's really trying to jockey for positioning around these Liberators as you blink down to the side, and those 2 Adepts going in as well to the third base mineral line, trying to get some SCV kills, but 3 workers have been picked off, 4 now in the back, while this army front harass is still going on. So trying to pull Innovation apart here is Hearthstone.
That's a good idea.
Liberation zones continue to spread. Liberator range is halfway done, but 2-2 for bio is also finishing, so even though Hearthstone's going to have that 3-3 very soon, at least there's a small window now where they're going to be even on upgrades, where if Innovation needs to take a fight, he can.
You know what's so important here in my eyes is that Hearthstone, again, has barely been harassed. He's held his economy together. He's now on 5 bases. I mean, that's a nightmare scenario for any Terran player against a Protoss. You know, you could produce a huge amount of hardcore units. A lot of damage was done to the economy. I mean, those Adepts run-bys from Hearthstone continue to devastate the mineral line of Innovation here. And what you've got is a very powerful army from the Terran, but it's a very immobile one.
I mean, this is just one of those things where as Liberator range finishes up, maybe now he can try to make something happen here.
Good hit from Disruptor again. I'm loving this.
He lost so many workers to the harass. And he really took quite a beating. And look at this. The Fleet Beacon is on the way with another Stargate. This is the most important part for Hearthstone because he's maxed out. He can throw away some of these gateway forces that Oracle actually just had by in mind, but blinks into the Liberators.
Gets a couple, though. You know, I mean, I think he could afford to do that right now. I think it'll take less time to rebuild those Stalkers than it will the Liberators. Maybe a little bit too impetuous there on the second push, but Innovation's down in supply right now, and he's down in tech. Upgrade-wise, Innovation isn't going to catch up for several minutes.
Yeah, this was really, really well Executed by Harsum. He's going to blink in again to the Liberators, getting an incredible amount of shots off. The Disruptor Balls are going to go out, hitting a big chunk of the army on the right side, and another giant one getting almost 2 Marauders there on the left.
That's a lot of damage he just took from that, though. He invested a lot in that fight, and he lost a lot of Stalkers in the process. The position of the Liberators was just a little bit too tough. And in the meantime, we see a drop attempt, which is going to drive away those Stalkers. The Pylons will, I believe, be enough to push this back with the Stalker backup.
Yeah.
Harsum still has a godlike economy at this point, though. You've got to bear that in mind.
Yeah, he has a lot of money. It's really important that Innovation also realizes that Tempests are coming into the field as well, because those are the answer. Like, as a Terran player, you can come back. I mean, let's just think back to Pult's match earlier against Deer. Like, Liberators with range can really do some magical things for you, but, I mean, Deer didn't have Tempest, and Harsum now does, and those are phenomenal against Liberators range, because you can just pick them off from super far away.
Yeah, and we're not seeing any sort of transition to deal with that from Innovation. Now, he's not ready for that. He doesn't have any Vikings whatsoever. He's got a lot of Marauders on the ground. Ultimately, Tempests are going to reign supreme here if he can get enough of them.
He's going to siege this base, so he can finally secure the ground here. But I got to say, this is one of those moments where Harsum needs to be careful with when he chooses to show his Tempest. Because if he has enough to make it work, sure, that's great. But if he shows them and he doesn't have enough, and you lose those Disruptors, especially, the Marines can... Oh my goodness, great shot!
Huge shot. Harsum is really getting those value disruptor shots. He's going to lose a base here, no doubt about it. As you said, Harsum needs to wait for the appropriate time. He has a smaller army, but he has the right kind of army in order to really make this work. But he's got to fight correctly. He blinks right under the Liberation Zones. That may have been a mistake. Harsum takes some serious damage from that as he has to back up through the Liberation Zones. Now the Tempests are in the mix.
That's the thing. You do not want the Marines to be able to get underneath your Tempest. That's one of the most important parts of this unit interaction. Like, look how many Marauders there are. There's barely any Marines, and they actually are getting close. They're almost going to kill one of the Tempests. That 4th Nexus should get picked up. I think Innovation definitely wants to grab that before he bails.
I mean, that's a big deal. Harsum's economy has taken a lot of damage here, and yeah, while Harsum is fighting well, the economy of Innovation has recovered. Most of the, in fact, all of the Liberators are down now, however, and Harsum is trying to get an advantage. A couple more Liberators back up. A lovely Disruptor shot again from Harsum. Excellent play so far from him, but I'm worried about him. How does he reestablish his economy after losing 2 bases like that?
I don't think it's going to be easy at all. I mean, especially now that he knows about the Tempest. Because if you're Innovation, what you do is you just don't tell all your barracks to build pure Marauders. You have maybe you just take 2 of your tech labbed barracks and you just use them to build Marines, getting mixed a little bit more in there. And all you really need to do is avoid the Disruptor balls, and then your Marines can kill the Tempest pretty easily because the Marauders will soak and deal damage to everything else.
We're seeing the addition of 4 Vikings at a time. I love the fact that Harsum is not adding any more Tempests, because he knows exactly what his opponent's going to do to switch. So why add any more Tempests? And you need a beefier ground force. Now add some more Disruptors into the mix. You know, he's been getting money shots with those over and over and over again. However, he might be caught out of position here. I'm not liking this. We need to see some good force fields go down, maybe. Ooh. A good Disruptor shot on the right flank, but I'm worried that Harsum's been backed into a corner here, and he might get crushed by this bio army.
And there's nowhere for Harsum to run. He needs to get his Tempest away from those Marines. The Stalkers are going to try to blink away, but there the Marines are, and these Tempests are going to be able to barely escape. So,
oh god,
that's
so
nice,
much
but
damage
he lost
done.
A lot.
He really did, and you know, without the economy to remax at this point, Innovation is now taking control of the game again. GG. A good effort from Harsum, you've got to admit that. You know, he looked like he had an opportunity, several in fact, that game, but Innovation's just too damn good.
It was a great game by Harsum, but Innovation is just on fire. He's too good at this game.
Is. Yep.
Pretty incredible.
That's exhausting to watch. And Innovation, he really did wait for the right opportunity there, because it was a very dangerous Protoss army, but he took that fight in just the perfect possible position.
I mean, it's just all about waiting for the right time, right? I mean, it's such a delicate balance, because as a Terran player, you want to get to Liberator range without dying to the big gateway play, which is the meta right now. And then as the Protoss player, you're like, well, I mean, I have to kill them before they get Lib range, or I have to go Tempests. And in this game, when you're going for the Tempest, then the window kind of flips where it's like, well, I need to get the Tempest before his ranged Liberators kill me, unless you can preempt it, which is very difficult to do, because if the Terran just does a big bio push instead of going for Liberators, and you're going for Tempests, well, then they just kill you, so very tricky, very delicate. Liberators are so good, too.
I would say so. We are finally here. We made it to the final map. This is an opportunity for Innovation to carry his kingship through to next month's tournament. Or, of course, it's an opportunity for our final player to finally knock him off the throne and take control for himself before next month's event. And, of course, the winner of this map will be the king and will move into next month in that position.
Going to be really, really cool to see. I'm very excited to find out who the next player is going to be. But yeah, talking about this setup, I wonder if it is actually going to be possible to dethrone. Like who could we bring in that could even threaten him? You know, the real question.
I think he's very vulnerable. He'll be very vulnerable next month if he sticks around. And if he happens to win this and he's the king next month, I think we're going to see people prepping for him in a big way. You know, they're going to have a chance to watch the VODs. They realize what he's been doing, and they will be ready for him. I don't think they were this time by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it will be a much tougher road for Innovation next month if he happens to stay on the throne. The last player is absolutely capable of dethroning him, though. There's no doubt about that. I'm looking forward to seeing whether or not it's possible, because this player was by far, I think, the strongest Zerg at the start of Legacy of the Void. He was an incredible player. He still is. He recently comes off a set of strong wins in the Base Trade Ting Open season, which just happened last week. He plays Pro League. He plays everything. He's the champion of SanDisk Invitational 2. He is Solar as our final player here in the ShoutCraft Kings tournament.
Oh boy. This, well, interested to see what if Innovation is going to mix things up at all then for this map.
I hope Solar's been watching, because this is another TVZ. Yep. They should be very familiar by now.
Exactly my thoughts, TV.
You'd think
Innovation,
so.
Is the robot going to just repeat the program?
I guess we'll find out very soon. This is the final map, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'd like to thank you very much for supporting the event today. It's certainly been beyond our wildest dreams when it comes to viewership, so we're very, very happy. Thank you very much for showing up, and hopefully you'll show up next month as well if you enjoyed this format. I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah, this has been an absolute blast. I've had a great time.
So for the final time today, ladies and gentlemen, who will be crowned king? To the southeast position, in the blue trunks, playing Zerg, he is Samsung Galaxy Khan Solar. Versus his opponent, the reigning king, on a 6-map streak. Can anybody stop him? In the red trunks, playing Terran, SKT1 Innovation.
What a series of games today. What an awesome day of StarCraft we've had here.
So many really cool games, awesome streaks, surprises. It's been great fun, and hopefully we can make it even better next month. I can maybe fix some of the problems that I have with my setup over here, and maybe my voice as well. God, I'm going hoarse here, but it's been so exciting. I've enjoyed this. It's just got this fundamentally different feel to other events, and I think variety is so important in a game like StarCraft. I think it's so easy for tournaments to become cookie cutter, to become copies of themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's very true. I mean, formats by and large this year for StarCraft, they mostly mimicked what was the best originally, and now everybody just does like this GSO group style thing, and I'm very happy to see this. I feel like this is a very interesting and fun format just because it's not the same. You like come into this, you're like, okay, well, you know that there's going to be X number of games, pretty much, and that's all there is to it, and it's an absolute treat to kind of see the way that it's affected the gameplay. I feel like some of the players have shown us some things that we probably wouldn't have been able to see if this had just been regular, okay, let's just do GSL style groups and, repeat the same process that we've done, a couple hundred times since 2012.
There are ultimately enough tournaments that do that, right? I think there's room for something different. So I'm glad that people have actually shown up to support that and seem to be having a lot of fun with it too. I thought for 6 months, would this work? You know, would this be a good idea? Would it be fun to watch? Would it be fun to cast? And the answer is yes. So I'm looking forward to 5 more of these. And I wonder which other players we can get, because after seeing this and seeing the amount of money on the line, I have a feeling there might be quite a few people knocking down the door to play.
For sure. For sure. We have this first Reaper for Innovation coming in, bringing the heat. Trying to get a little bit of work done against those Zerglings, and my eyes are drawn to his base. PB, he's pretty much gonna do the same build again, it looks like.
If at first you do succeed, do it 6 more times, I think, is the axiom of Innovation today. And it's doing the job. I mean, you can't argue with its effectiveness, how devastating a build it is, how hard it is to stop even if you know it's coming. That's the mark of a truly dangerous build. This is not a cheese. This is not reliant on hidden information. It literally is reliant on how well Innovation executes it. And that takes control away from your opponent.
Yeah, well, at this point, it just comes down to the enemy has to just be hoping that he's going to screw up in a really big way. Like, you need to almost just be like, well, please just get supply blocked, you know? Just accidentally kick your foot behind your own computer and unplug your mouse and forget to pause the game while you go to fix it and then maybe lose the game, right? But I have a strange feeling that's not going to happen in this game. I do think that because this map is longer, it should give a little bit more time for Solar to kind of come to grips with what is going to be coming his way and hopefully formulate a better defense than the other Zergs have set up this game. Also, thank God he didn't take that gold base, because seriously, that base is so ripe for a sieging.
Oh, good lord. Yeah, don't do that. It's a trap, is what it is.
Your opponent, it's a great base to take. It's like, oh, I love gold minerals, but if you take that against someone like Innovation, who consistently has been going for 2 tanks, pushing it by 8 minutes, it's like, well, you're actually just asking for it.
Yes, don't do that. That would be silly. Solar keeping an eye on Innovation for the time being. Innovation's timing is crisp. It's identical. It is a carbon copy of what it's been up to this point. But Solar looks like he is going to go for a little bit of a counter-attack here. He's going to use a Overlord drop. And this is going to be timed at around when Innovation moves out with this.
I love this. This is so smart. This is a great way to abuse the fact that Innovation keeps doing the same sort of style. And he's got enough lings to flood up there to the point where he should be able to get some serious damage done if he goes right now. These Marines pushing that Overlord back on the right side, but
he's backing off. Oh, he's bringing a second one. He's going to go with all of them. All right.
2 is better than 1, and there's still a lot of lings in the main base ready to defend against this double medevac drop.
Well, you know, I said it. If you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again in the King of the Hill, you can't complain when someone eventually adapts to that, and Solar has just flooded the main base of Innovation with speed Zerglings on the outside of that drop. Innovation is now having to deal with this. You know, he's having to bring his defenses back. He's not being able to actually attack with this drop. Perfectly timed execution here from Solar. And now he's going down into the natural as well.
I'm glad we finally got someone that can kind of punish Innovation for the way that he moves his units out of his base so damn fast. And those Overlords on the left side are going to be there for quite a while to put that pressure on and try to make something happen. He's like, I can't kill the third base. Well, I pretty much won the game with this attack every other game, and now he's being pushed back again. The medevacs are on the way home. Yeah. And another big thing that I'm noticing on top of all of this is that he never got the factory building siege tanks. He hasn't started his 1-1. He's been thrown off of his game. And without the siege tank follow-up, like, what's the big threat? It's just Marines. Just defend the drops.
That was the exact correct thing to do there by Solar, because you saw the push came in later, the push came in with less punch, and the push did nothing as a result of Solar's disruption. This is a great example of adapting to a great build from Innovation, very well executed, but it's a way to disrupt it. That's exactly what he should have done. A couple of Overlords, unfortunately, going to get caught out here, but Solar's looking pretty damn strong at the moment.
Nice chance for you to save that Overlord, but I know I completely agree with you. Like, just the way that you prepare yourself for a build, and when you're in a rhythm and things are going well, you just get so good at repeating that process. But being thrown off can really hurt you a lot. He's trying to go to flank this army, but that Widowmine gets so many of the Zerglings tucked behind that position. It's just a choke point. The Zerglings can't actually get a good spot on these Marines.
There's only one Queen there as well, so they're not shutting these medevacs down anywhere near quick enough. The trade here for Innovation is insane. The amount that he just got out of that. You know, we were talking up Solar, and then suddenly it just takes one precision drop here from Innovation to totally turn this around.
Innovation's like, I don't need siege tank drops to be able to make this work. Pressure
He
the
only needs
natural pressure
positioning.
the main and the third.
And he just did a super amount of damage with that. He is able to catch up economically. He's able to vastly close the gap in terms of army supply, because there was a lot of Lings on the ground, a dangerous amount of Zerglings, and of course most of them got devastated. That Widowmine positioning was great. Notice that he was also controlling that Widowmine. That was not a random hit. He held on to that Widowmine until the optimal moment and then let it fly at the largest group possible.
Yeah, it was a very well used mine, especially because it just allows, like, when you do something like that, all your Marines can focus on the one Ling that's coming at you at a time through that choke, and that's one of the things that makes a position like that so powerful. So Innovation moving out, cleaning up some of the Overlords out on the map, and getting ready to attack. But, you know, Baneling speed is so far away that I feel like if he comes up and snipes a couple of tumors and spreads out those Widow Mines, it's going to be insanely difficult for Solar to actually just stop a straight-up Marine attack. And meanwhile, Innovation's grabbed the gold.
Yep, why not? Might as well take that, get some cake on your birthday, Innovation, as well as a large sack of actual gold, which you will be receiving after this event. In the meantime, however, the surround comes in. The Baneling's just a little bit too slow on the mark there. And that was a nasty detonation, taking a few of the Banes out in trade for that Widowmine.
Innovation's trying to get this position back, but Solar is content to just hover underneath the medevacs and try to delay them as much as he
That
can.
drop, though, coming to the main.
Yep, trying to pull him in every which possible direction. That Spire is quite exposed, too. Need to be very careful about those two Widow Mines that have been brought with this drop.
That could be devastating. Oh, lovely control there by Solar. He's able to neutralize both with minimal losses. That was excellent. And now we actually see some air control in the form of a few Mutalisks, and that was unexpected there for Innovation. Getting caught out by that, you might very well lose a medevac. In the meantime, big Marine push coming in towards the gold base, but Solar is prepared for it. A flood of Zerglings, and now chasing the Terran player back across the map. We finally see the Zerg with the momentum.
Yeah, this is definitely an unusual position for Innovation so far today, but he's still macroing like a machine, and he's going to chase with these medevacs straight into the next giant wave of Marine Widowmine. And it's funny that we talked about this, because now he's basically playing it like it's Heart of the Swarm.
Pretty much, yeah. He's not even playing tanks. And you know what? I think against a player like Solar, it's great that he's not playing tanks. I feel that it would make Innovation too immobile. I think a player like Solar has way too good map presence. He knows exactly how to engage. And especially with the mutas on the board right now, you know, those tanks will get shut down pretty fast.
Really, really good. He's been able to get himself into a position where this has turned into a lot more of a game than the other TVZs that we've seen so far today. These Marines are going to have to run back, trying to deny this run-by from Solar. He's going to eat up a few of the reinforcements. Going to get a Marine or two and a Marauder.
Get a Marauder, yeah. That's a bit of a bargain there. He's actually working on these Widow Mines here as well. Yeah. He doesn't take them out, but he gets a sense of what Innovation's doing, which is building a hell of a lot of Widow Mines.
Yeah, and the mines against the Mutiling Bane style, they are, well, I mean, there's a reason why siege tanks didn't exist in Heart of the Swarm, and it's because Widow Mines were so damn good.
They were that good, yeah. Why invest in something so expensive, so immobile, so vulnerable, when you can build Widow Mines that deal with air as well? This is getting a bit crazy, though. We've got armies all over the map at the moment. We're seeing a big Widow Mine deployment. That is a very, very risky place to go. But in the meantime, a huge Ling run by heads in to the natural expansion, backed up by mutas as well. It's not enough on the ground here for the Terran player.
I mean, Innovation's got to defend at the same time as he makes this attack. And Widow Mines get some great shots off, but he doesn't have enough to break through this. And his reinforcements have actually been rallying into where the Mutalisks are, so they're not bunching up. The Marines aren't getting together. They're not standing together to fight against this force, and that's what you need to do. You need to get all your production wrapped up. Solar's doing tremendous damage.
Yeah, Solar, I did that to get the pressure off him, and he was able to, as you said, do a lot of damage. Not really in terms of the economy of his opponent, but kill a huge amount of reinforcements to the point where he's able to, for the most part, equalize the army supply here, and also re-establish another base. We get another drop, though. Innovation isn't letting this go. I mean, there are currently 5 bases up for the Zerg player, but Solar's able to aptly defend the southwest position. Things are starting to look up here for Solar, and he's going to Hive Tech as well, and that's where things start to get really dangerous. You know, what is a Widowmine comp going to do against a lot of Ultras? Not a great deal.
Nope. And these Banelings run up. They're just going to eat this army. Oh my goodness!
Oh,
a little
that
bit
was
too
so expensive.
Forward there, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that he decided to do that, actually, considering he knew there were so many Widow Mines. That was a bit of a pricey engagement for the Zerg player, and yeah, he's got money, but I wouldn't necessarily risk that at this point. In the meantime, we see Yet more attempted run-bys. Lings moving in to the top here to try and do some damage. More Banelings moving in from the side. Great splits here by Innovation. Huge Widowmine detonation in the middle of the Mutant Pack is not enough to stop this, and Solar is overrunning this finally.
He's going to push this back. There is another army waiting in tow, however, but the
always?
Banelings... There's too many Banelings for these Marines to stand and deliver. He's going to have to run everything all the way back home. And look at this, another Ling flood on the production tab for Solar as he continues to try to march back across the map. However, it is quite a long map, so if there's one map that favors the defender a lot, it is this one, at least.
Pounding him over and over and over again. The economy of the Zerg's looking pretty good, but Innovation is still ahead, and unsuccessful run-bys have been a bit of a problem. You know, Innovation has this well-set-up planetary fortress that is almost impregnable at this point, but look at how mined out Innovation is. Like, his only safe base is that over-mining planetary. His third and fourth are almost done at this point. Like, they have very few minerals left. Where does Innovation expand from here when Solar has so much map control?
That's a very important thing to keep in mind. I mean, he doesn't have another command center that's ready yet. He's building one, but now he has to deal with Ultralisks, and we have not seen Innovation play a game past 10 minutes all day long against Zerg so far. So we're seeing now that he is definitely not 100% perfect, but he's still playing very well. I just don't think that he's playing a style that holds much water once Zerg Tier 3 is on the map.
That's the problem, and I think, honestly, Innovation's been deliberately playing a style that avoids getting to Ultras in the first place. Like, he wanted to end the game before that, and...
That's every Korean Terran right now. Last thing you do is play versus Ultralisks.
No, they're devastating. They're incredibly hard to deal with. Great Baneling connection there for Solar, who brings his reinforcements in here as well. The question is, where is Innovation's base going to go? Can Innovation contain the Zerg long enough to expand again? Because if he can't, Innovation is going to rapidly run out of resources.
I mean, he's got this position set up, but Ultras are coming out. +3 Carapace is on the way. Important to note that Innovation has 3-3, and Chitinous has not actually been started for Solar, who's also quite broke himself. So if he does not get Chitinous, actually these Marines can deal with it if he can fight maxed out without too many Banelings connecting.
Yes.
Oh, look, there's a big Ling drop in the main base as well of Innovation. Great counterattack.
Love that. You know, try and get the reinforcements, try and kill some more SCVs, try and make things a bit more difficult, but Innovation still continue to pressure here. These Banelings are very vulnerable to the number of Widow Mines, you know, so... Oh, God, that did not get a huge amount done on either side, but now we see a big army supply advantage here for Innovation. While Innovation is losing his economy, he's not losing the army fight, and that's what's concerning me here. Can Solar actually stop this pressure? There's not that many Ultras. I mean, there's a single almost dead Ultralist.
He just started Chitinous plating. I think he's realized that he didn't get it. And it's the single most important upgrade in the game for Zerg, I would say, in this meta. So not having that puts you so far behind. The Widow Mines detonate on the Lings. The Marines and the Marauders are still alive. He's going to try to push on this ramp one more time.
He's got
the rest of the Widow Mines hit.
Bear in mind, a lot of the army was held back as a direct result of that harassment, but more reinforcements are streaming across the map right now. You see a solid line of red heading in the direction of the Zerg player, and I feel like the Zerg player is starting to lose momentum here. Like, if he can get another expansion up, then great, but at 71 workers on almost mined-out bases now, Solar's sitting on a bunch of Corruptors that aren't going to help here, and suddenly, Innovation, he comes back once again, unbelievably tenacious, unkillable Terran.
Absolutely unreal play from Innovation today. Storming, stampeding, marching down the field, mixing in Liberators now coming in to reinforce this army, and not having Chitinous plating for your Ultras to help soak against this army at all hurts so much. Those Ultras die like it's Wings of Liberty.
Gee. Ladies and gentlemen, your king, your God Emperor today, taking 7 maps in a row without a single loss. The one and only Innovation. What a performance from him. That doesn't just take talent, that takes precognition to be able to deal with, you know, players from all over the world, every race, every style. He's just that good.
Just an amazing, amazing set of games. And for, you know, talk about a player to end things on. Innovation just rolling through the last so many maps, wrecking everybody in his way. And you know, Solar finally giving him a real run for his money. Harstem gave him quite a run for his money as well. But just the tenacity, and I have to say, the flawless mechanical execution. Like, he just, in any of those scenarios, you lose an army, and it's like, oh, well, You know, he maybe he only queued half his barracks, or maybe he got supply blocked. And it's like, well, now he has to wait to build an army. It's like, no, he doesn't. He didn't need to. He already had another one ready and marching towards his opponent. And that's something that I feel like is really hard to find in a Terran, and it's what makes you one of the top players in the world. Period.
It absolutely does, and that is a well-deserved kingship and reign that will go on to next month for Innovation. He wins 7 maps, $1,750 in prize money today, and he will, of course, be the king next month in August's ShoutCraft Kings, which hopefully is going to be even better when it comes to the lineup. I can't wait to see who we can get for this. Hopefully, a lot of great players. We saw some awesome play today. We saw the revival of Stefano. We saw incredible runs from Pult, Innovation, Nurcio. It's been awesome. It's been really fun to cast, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. And big thanks, of course, to Nathanias for stepping in at short notice for In Control today.
It's my pleasure. I had a lot of fun here as well. This is a really awesome day of StarCraft.
So cool. I'd like to give a few thank yous before we leave. A big thanks to our French casting team, O Gaming, and big thanks to our Korean casting team, Crank, and, of course, Alicia. Big thanks to Olivia for adminning this tournament, and a huge thank you to Crank, who was instrumental in facilitating a lot of the Korean invites to this event. Big thank you to Blizzard for supplying the prize pool and coordination for this tournament, as well as to Kesper for being so cooperative and giving us access to so many of their awesome players. Big thank you to everybody that played in the event today, and of course a huge thank you to all of you for showing up for what was hopefully a very, very entertaining series of games that I'm looking forward to repeating just even better next month in ShoutCraft Kings. Big thanks again to Nathanias for showing up today. It's been awesome. Thank you for co-casting for so long.
Thank you for having me on, man. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. That wraps us up here for ShoutCraft Kings. If you missed any of the matches today, they're going to be going up on youtube.com/TotalBiscuit for the next couple of days. If you are a subscriber to twitch.tv/TotalBiscuit, you have instant access to the uncut VODs right now. It's going to take us a while. I'm looking at the size of the VODs, and they appear to be 70 gigabytes. That's going to take us a little while to transfer, so edits are on the way. You should hopefully see some matches coming up, if not today, tomorrow, available on youtube.com/TotalBiscuit. They'll be spoiler-free. If you missed anything today, you'll be able to watch the whole tournament with no idea who's coming up, and of course, no idea who wins. Spoiler, it's probably Innovation. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much again for watching ShoutCraft Kings. It's been a great time, and I'm absolutely floored by the number of people that came out to support the event. I really hope you'll show up next time, and I hope that you had a great Saturday. I certainly did. That was some awesome StarCraft. We will see you again next month. Keep an eye on my Twitter to find out when the next tournament's going to be. And of course, there'll be an announcement on my StarCraft channel, youtube.com/TotalBiscuit. There'll be more surprise announcements, more surprise invites, and hopefully some really great StarCraft. All hail the King Innovation after a 7-map streak. We'll be seeing him again next month, hopefully. And we will be seeing you again next time.